Hi all, and welcome to this week's Naviate Feature of the Week video. This week I'll be presenting Naviate's Pattern Editor tool. Now the Pattern Editor tool is listed on Naviate's Architecture tab, so I'll go ahead and navigate to there, and it'll be listed here under the Detailing tab. And here's the Pattern Editor dialog box. The first couple things I want to bring your attention to is the patterns in the project area. And you'll notice here that drafting and model are two options that I can utilize. And here on this drop down will be listed all of my hatch patterns that are currently loaded into my model. And I can go ahead and either use one of these as a starting point or go ahead and just edit that specific hatch pattern. I can rename it or duplicate it if I wanted to use a certain pattern as a template for my next pattern. Over here to the right, let me go ahead and select a pattern just for a second. And over here to the right, you'll notice that there is a preview of that hatch pattern. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that in the pattern editor tool, this is all going to be line-based hatches. Any hatches that have either curves or shapes, such as like concrete has some triangular shapes. Wood patterns have some curvatures. Those won't work well. And if I try to load one, I'll get this error. So you want to make sure that you're creating a line-based hatch pattern. After the previewer, look here under the pattern lines area here. This is where bulk of the information will be. Each row is a line that you'll see on the right. And if I go ahead and move my mouse around in the right, you'll notice that some lines get highlighted in blue, and then over in my pattern lines area of my dialog box, the row that line is associated to will be highlighted as well. So as you're working and maneuvering, you'll be able to easily identify which line you are altering and how it looks within the pattern editor previewer. Now under the pattern lines area, each row is a line, and I have settings for that line specifically. So I can edit the angle of the line, the X and Y starting point of the line, how much the line shifts, the spacing between the first line and the second line, and then if I wanted to either delete the line or duplicate it, I would hit the minus and plus here to the right. Now, if I go ahead and click on edit, this will open up my drawing capability, and I can create hatch patterns based off of what I draw. So if I go ahead and let's just delete some of these guys, and I'll start off with this one, and I can go ahead and then just draw lines. So first thing you'll want to know is if you want it to snap to a grid or not. You have this dot grid system that you can use as a guide, or you can hide if you no longer want it. Here I can also specify how many times the pattern is repeating, just so I can get a better understanding and more broader view of my hatch pattern, so I can see what it'll look like repeating. And then this is a color coding indicator here. The green is your main line. This is what all of your settings is controlling here. The orange is your shift line, and it's how much your offset line is, and that's controlled by the shift here. The second visible line is going to be purple because I don't have this is a continuous line. I don't see the purple, but once I make it a dashed, I will see that purple line. And then the blue lines are just the repeated lines of that line. If there were other lines here, they'd be grayed out, and then anything that I draw new is going to be red. So if I wanted to create a new line, I'll go ahead and click on draw new line. Now, one thing to note is since I want this to be a dash line, I will check this continuous off. Now go ahead and draw in my line, stop wherever I feel comfortable, and hit click. Now notice the purple has appeared. If I wanted to make any edits, let's say I wanted to make the drawing portion a little longer, I can go ahead and move these push handles and make my line that way. And then once I have created my line, let's say for example I wanted to delete the line I created because that's not what I want. I wanted to create a line that was at the same angle and dashed. Go ahead and create that. And then once I am done, if I like what I see and I wanted to go ahead and finalize my drawing, I would go ahead and just say exit edit, have my lines here, and click on save. And I'm done. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope it was informative. Thank you.